Hey everybody, it's Greg from Park Journey here. Hope you're all doing all right. It's been a while since we've done one of these videos, but I share some thoughts on the new creator program that some Six Flags parks are rolling out. There was a lot of conversation, a lot of really great conversation about it yesterday online, and I shared some thoughts, and a lot of people agreed and disagreed with what I had to say. So I kind of wanted to do a quick video just to kind of break down a little bit more of my thoughts on these different guidelines that Six Flags is going to be rolling out for quote unquote content creators. I'm not really a huge fan of that word. I've never considered myself or our team to be content creators. We are bloggers. I don't even think we're vloggers, really. We obviously our YouTube has never really taken off as much as we would have liked. So I don't know if we even put ourselves in that category. We just love theme parks, and we like promoting them, and we like sharing our love of theme parks with everybody else, and that's what we've done for 10 and a half years. And so these guidelines don't really change what we do here at Park Journeys, so it's not really a big deal for us. But again, I'm going to share my thoughts. But before I do, make sure you click below to subscribe to our channel. As always, it is very greatly appreciated. So as I mentioned, these guidelines, they're pretty much what we've been doing for the past 10 and a half years or so since we've founded Park Journey. And even prior to that, when I was, blogging for, a few other sites prior to that, I've been doing this for over 20 years, really. When you sit down and think about it, since probably 2001, probably my very first park update was probably for West Coaster, way back when. And then through some other sites, I did things for Laughing Place way back in the day, other sites as well. So, not really a new thing for me. And then when we started Park Journey, I just kind of carried that over. So the one thing I will say about these guidelines is anybody who's tried to start a theme park blog or vlog knows how hard it can be to find out who to contact, just to get press releases. And with Six Flags and Cedar Fair in particular, all the parks were separate. They all had separate PR departments, and you would get different answers when you would try to reach out to parks to get, just simple press releases, not even asking for anything, not asking for tickets, not asking for anything. When we were starting out, we were just asking, hey, send us press releases. We're more than happy to share. We're trying to build an audience. That's how we want to build an audience. We want to help you. That's kind of what we did. But it was funny that, some parks were more than happy to send us stuff right away. Magic Mountain, we had a really great relationship with. Knott's, Berry Farm, even Universal Studios Hollywood, they were very, very quick to start sending us press releases when we first started. Six Flags Great Adventure, over Georgia, Fiesta Texas, Kings Island. We're just really, Canada's Wonderland, we're just always really great on sending us information for the park. Let us help you promote your park. Some other parks, I'm not going to name them, and then again, this is going back, 10 plus years. I don't know if it's different now, but, they were basically saying, we only work with traditional media at the time, and they wouldn't even send us press releases. So it was all over the place. So kind of with this new guideline, it kind of seems that it's the same process, so to speak. So it kind of will keep out that guessing game as far as, will this park send us stuff? Will this park, not send us stuff? Things like that. It seems like this is kind of the same guidelines throughout the chain, which it will help. So I don't know if we need to reapply for all of these different things. We'll find out. I've got an email out to Six Flags Magic Mountain PR to kind of clarify a few things. So we'll see what happens there. The other thing that I kind of had a question on later on in the day after a lot of the conversation was, are there different levels of content creators? So for example, we've got people, I'm in Southern California, so Magic Mountain, Knott's, local parks to me. We've got people in Northern California, so, Discovery Kingdom and Great America. We've got people in Georgia for Six Flags Over Georgia. We've got people in Texas for Fiesta Texas and Six Flags Over Texas. Great Adventure, we've got people that are local to those parks. Cedar Point, we've got people that are, somewhat local. Canada's Wonderland, obviously, we have a really great relationship with. Those are our parks that, we would be content creators for. But then there's the other parks like Worlds of Fun or Michigan's Adventure or Six Flags St. Louis that we don't really have anybody on our team that are local, but we would still love to get press releases and things like that for those parks and share that with our audience. And then have an occasional visit, every few years to the park. So I don't know if there's different levels of creator, so to speak, for those. So if it's all or nothing. So again, another question that I have out to kind of find out that information. So we'll see. Still a lot of questions that a lot of people have. But let's kind of break down the guidelines a little bit here. I'm going to go through all of them and share my thoughts and hope you enjoy. Well, basically, the way that it works is content creator guidelines. We're happy to work with content creators who support our values and are excited to help tell our story. However, we will not work with influencers whose content or personal activity, number one, does not support our park values, integrity, courtesy, inclusiveness, safety, service, and cleanliness. So this kind of, going to the integrity, courtesy, inclusiveness, I was kind of thinking more, this is a great thing because maybe they're going to start having more inclusive content creators. If you've been a theme park fan for a while, you know that it is very white male driven. Guys that look like me have been doing this for 20 years or 25 years like me. So I'm all for having a more diverse content creator pool. I hope this means that. I don't really talk about what I do outside of Park Journey. This is my hobby. I don't get paid to do this. So I don't really talk about, what I do for my actual job. I will just say that I've been heavily involved in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space here for a while in my normal job. And if you're against it, you just don't know what it means. Spend some time learning about what it actually is. It's not, woke or anything like that. Really, I've found myself, a rather progressive person, and I've learned so much in this space over the last, year or two in my jobs. But I really hope, not to kind of get on a soapbox there, but I really hope that this means that parks are going to start catering to a more diverse audience through their content creator program. I think that's a great thing. The second one is bullies, harasses, or discriminates against other people or associates online or in the park. This is pretty much, this is simple. If you're going to bully people, whether it's in the park or online, fellow content creators, general public, things like that, you're not going to be able to be a content creator. They're not saying don't do it, but they're saying that you can't work with the park. This is I don't think anybody should have a problem with this. My only question is, how much they'll actually enforce this, because there's some larger content creators that might have had history of this in the past. So I don't know if it's kind of this point going forward, things like that. But don't be a bully. That's basically what it is. Next one is shows behind the scenes or restricted areas without park approval. Now, this one seemed to be the one that most people had questions on. I didn't read this as you can't do construction updates. I didn't read this as don't show coasters under construction, or don't show dirt, or don't show footers. I didn't read it like this at all. I read it as if you are doing things like flying a drone over the park, if you are sticking your camera through a fence, that is blocked, or a wall that is blocked, or you're sticking your camera over a wall. That's kind of what I was reading it as. Or if you are, going backstage when you're not supposed to. That's happened in the past as well. So that's kind of what I was reading that as. Again, some more clarification here is needed, for sure. But my take is, if you're in a public area and you're taking pictures or video of construction, and you can see it clearly from that public area, then I think that's fair game. Because this is saying, behind the scenes or restricted areas. Well, most coasters are behind the scenes and or restricted areas. So if you can't show that, then you can't take pictures of coasters. Because all coasters are in a safe space. They're all behind, fences. They're all restricted areas. You don't go ever into a restricted area for a roller coaster. We've all heard the stories, seen the news reports about, people doing that. So We don't take pictures behind walls. We've never done it. We've always done it from public areas. If there's a hole in the wall, we have done it in the past. If there's a little circle or whatever, we have done in the past. Full disclosure. So we'll probably stop doing that. But it would be awesome if parks would have like windows into, in their walls to kind of get pictures and videos and that, because people love to see stuff like that. So maybe this is something that we can, work with the parks and say, hey, we don't want to break any rules, but hey, can you make it a little easier to see what's going on? That'd be awesome. The next one is shares park insider information, including but not limited to photos, video, documents, or details about future events or attractions without park approval. This was another one that had a lot of questions, things about, if there is a public document that says they're building something, that's a public document. Why wouldn't we be able to share that? And we've always been of the belief is until the park actually announces it or sends it to us, we're not going to talk about it. That's kind of always been our philosophy. A lot of people don't agree with that. There's a lot of sites out there that basically focus mainly on looking for documents and finding these documents and posting these documents, and that's fine. But that's not what we've done, and it looks like this is not what Six Flags wants. So again, they're not saying that they're going to sue you. They're not saying that they're going to do anything. They're basically just saying, if you want to do this, go for it, but you're not going to be associated with the park. I think that's pretty straightforward. I don't think that there's a lot of wiggle room there. This is their policy. So if you want to have a relationship with these parks and you want to be involved in these events, then don't share things like that until the park makes it public. There's been many times that we've been, aware of what's going on, what's coming to different parks throughout the years. There was a lot of times where we had to be very careful when we were doing our park updates to not share those things accidentally. Share those things if you want, if that's where your bread and butter is, and if that's where you get all your views and clicks and everything. But don't expect to be asked to cover the park on an official capacity. That's basically all it is. Next is actively spreads misinformation about company policies, programs, or associates. When I first read this, I was thinking it was more about sharing park rumors about this is coming to this park, this is coming to that park, but this is really looks like more of a company and employees thing. It's not really about not sharing rumors or thoughts about or speculation of what might be coming to a certain park. We all speculate. This is not saying that. This is not saying, hey, I'm going to speculate this coaster is coming to Magic Mountain to replace the Golden Bear Theater. This is a Giga. This is whatever it is. I don't think this is that. This is company policies, company programs, and company associates. That's not the same thing. So basically, don't spread misinformation about the company is basically what this is saying. Again, no problem with that whatsoever. I don't think that that's really about sharing rumors or speculation at all. The next one, this should be a pretty. If you're doing this, then don't. Violates park safety rules, code of conduct, or creative guidelines. Don't break the park rules, whether you're a content creator or not. Just go to the parks and have fun. That's it. It's not really any more difficult than that. Don't break the rules. Next is includes copyright infringement and or unauthorized use of Six Flags intellectual property. This is again pretty self-explanatory. Don't infringe on their copyright. That's pretty straightforward. Next is portrays the park or any other Six Flags park in an inappropriate manner. Again, a lot of conversation about this one as well. I'm not reading this as don't criticize. We've been known to criticize parks in the past, maybe a little too much in the past, but we've always had pretty good relationships, even with some parks that we've been critical of, because we try to be constructive with our criticism. We're not being critical to be critical. We're being critical because we enjoy these places and we want to see them actually improve and get better. So I don't think that that's, as long as it's constructive, as far as the way I'm reading this, I think you're okay. Constructive criticism is a good thing. It's how we all grow. It's how we all learn. All right, so that's basically it. That's kind of a breakdown of my thoughts on this. You know, I know a lot of people disagree with me. I've gotten, you know, called a shill more than once over the last 24 hours since these guidelines came out. But I really do think this is a good thing at the end of the day. I think that it's going to open up more opportunities for content creators, you know, newer content creators. Again, I don't know if we need to reapply for different things. I'm still trying to find out, you know, things like that. But one thing that did kind of catch me yesterday, last night, when I was thinking about this a little bit more, was these guidelines seem to be more about going back to the days of promoting the parks more than the people in the park. So for example, like a lot of parks these days have been about using influencers, you know, showing them in the parks. But those updates are about the influencer in the park, not necessarily about the park itself. And our updates as well have never really been about us. Like if I'm not on camera, I'm 100% fine with that. I don't, you know, you'll even notice on like our YouTube videos, you know, I'm not on camera. I'm not, you know, for the most part. I've tried to do the vlogger thing. It doesn't work. I don't put myself in the thumbnails. So it's for us. It's the updates have always been about the park first, not about us giving the update. So it kind of seems like this is kind of going back to that kind of style, where it's not about the influencer in the park, but about the park itself. And if that's the case, that's good for us, because that's what we've done. That's what we've always done. Obviously, there's some clarification needed on some of this, and hopefully we'll get that over the next week or two. But overall, I think this is a positive change. It's not a surprising change, to be honest with you. Obviously, if you, like I said at the front, if you want to be promoting these parks, you want to be involved in events at the parks, you need to follow the rules. And I don't think a lot of people realize that most people that do this, we don't get paid for it. Like the revenue that we get, that I get, is basically enough to keep the site running, nothing more. We don't pay for our passes with revenue. We don't pay for travel with revenue. It's basically the website and maybe a new battery for the camera or something. But it's almost like a second job. And it's a lot of work. And media events are working media events, and I think that's also something that maybe has been lost over the last couple of years. That these are working events. You're there to work and promote the park. And I think this is kind of a going back to that. So again, I think it's a positive thing overall. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I think it's a good thing. So anyway, I think I've rambled on too long. Hope you're all doing well. I will be going to Magic Mountain tomorrow for our first update it's been months. But I'm looking forward to actually getting back to Magic Mountain tomorrow, see what's going on at the park, see if I get yelled at for taking video in public areas. I don't think I will, though. All right, everybody, take care. We'll talk soon.